The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
All right, guys, welcome back to another live show, a late show, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. Hope everyone can hear me all right. Just me for the moment. Might have some other members drop in a little later, but as of right now, just me. But that's okay because I'm putting the link in the chat right now because this is an open mic show and we're having some fun, hanging out, talking Bigfoots, cryptids, ancient technologies, lost treasures, conspiracies, pretty much anything. We really, myself personally, I dive into a little bit of everything. And if you're a part of the group on Facebook, I post what's going on. Okay. I post a lot of articles and stuff of ancient sites, ancient findings, new scientific discoveries, all sorts of stuff. Really, the reading this. Yeah, this is a unfortunately this is a vintage collector's item now. We don't sell any shirts or anything like that anymore. Maybe in the future. But as of right now, we don't sell anything. So if you find anything with Lost Cryptids Conservatory that's out there being sold, it is not from us. And you should definitely not buy it from them. But yeah, ancient stoneworks and stuff of how they used mysterious technologies or some type of force to manipulate stones into place or melt them and actually fold them. So if you're part of the group on Facebook, you can read those articles and see what I'm talking about, and a whole host of different stuff and interesting articles, not just cryptid related, but all sorts of stuff. But we mainly, of course, get into Bigfoot on the live shows and the research out in the field because it seems to be the most prevalent thing that we and others encounter. And one of the most easiest things to go out and look for instead of, ancient lost treasures and stuff like that, which a lot of people associate with, which don't associate with North America. We know that South America, of course, has a lot of ancient treasures and temples and pyramids and gold Aztec, Inca, Mayan, and Olmecs, and all sorts of mysterious ancient civilizations that aren't there. But North America is just as old, if not older. And there's legends and mythology of ancient civilizations and stuff here. So giants and copper mounds and the mound builders and all sorts of unique stuff. So actually, any lost treasures of any significance found in North America, I would say probably be more of a finding in anywhere else, especially if you found, which they find, Chinese artifacts here, Roman artifacts here. Of course, we know Viking artifacts are over here. But the Phoenicians, I don't know if some of you guys definitely know, but this ancient sailor civilization that's sailed across the world. But here in Michigan, they found a tablet that is associated with Phoenician culture, which means that they sailed all the way from the Mediterranean Sea all the way across the Atlantic up through the St. Lawrence River into the Great Lakes waterways and actually into the Great Lakes. So the continent is pretty old and stuff. So a lot of mysteries, a lot of lost knowledge, lost history of what actually was going on here. And so you wrap that up with a bunch of cryptids, sprinkle that on top of, Bigfoot, and maybe add in a little UFO stuff, and you guys got yourself a pretty amazing continent. With the white people, and the reality of it is the history that we accept of this whole country of North America and South America. It goes back to 1500s. And then the natives, and they say, well, further back there was this kind of culture, and they were just hunter gatherers, and maybe slightly a little farming, but there was no civilization, culture, metalwork, technological intelligence. But in fact, they're completely wrong. And in fact, that we know now is the opposite happened. Is that they were so diverse with culture and language and and traditions, and skilled in different crafts. And while they might not have worked in the metal and making the same type of stuff that Europeans did, they were definitely intricated and very smart and talented at skills at making clothing and leather and all sorts of decorations, and using feathers and parts of animals that Europeans certainly weren't using and stuff, and using, of course, bones and I guess more environmentally friendly ways. But of course, they were more in touch with natures and stuff. But we do know that they were not just savages, of course, as they were depicted, but highly advanced peoples that actually in a lot of ways, are very relatable to the ancient Celtic people, the ancient Gauls people, and ancient Germanic people, the tribes that they used to be called, and where they would wear almost the same kind of outfits. They would paint up with war paint and stuff. They would do the dances and stuff. Very similar cultures and stuff. In terms of some of the stuff that they did, and of course there's some speculation theories of ancient European trades with the Celtic, Gallic, and of course Germanic, which are pretty much almost all the same. You might as well, it'd be like saying, Native Americans and stuff. They're all almost the same type of people. They're just different tribes. The Germanic tribes and Gallic tribes, which are more in the French area, and Celtics, of course, which is Britannia and stuff, and then even in Spain, the people of Gaul were in Spain. But anyways, this ancient trade system, theory, and this ancient culture mesh a very long time ago. And so, yes, ancient people, you can find maps and stuff. There's even a church, and I think Ireland and stuff like that depict corn, maize, which is not native to Europe, which is not native to certainly Ireland or wherever that church is from. But it picks basically corn being traded to from Native Americans to Europeans, and they brought it over and stuff. So it obviously was highly prized, so that's why they made it into the stonework. Uh, that was, I can't remember the time period, but it was like, medieval times and stuff. So it wasn't like ancient time that particular people went over and traded and got the corn back. So people certainly have been traveling across the Atlantic and the Pacific to North America for a long time. You can find that in different maps. Of course, we do know that the Chinese came over here. We do know the first fact we have found Roman coins and Roman artifacts in different river systems in the middle of America, and I think it was like Illinois or something. And Viking, I believe Viking ships that have sailed across into the Great Lake system. So because that goes back to the ancient sailors and stuff. The Phoenicians, which is very more of an ancient and stuff. But then you get into um, the stories about Atlantis and stuff. You know, and that they were a seafaring people and stuff, and were um, known to go across the world, but actually attacked like Egypt and stuff. And they made trade and stuff. I'll be right back. I gotta do something real quick. All right. So just read some comments, and then we'll get into some Bigfoot stuff. But I'll give you a reason why I'm getting into all this. But um, um, for the first part, without getting into like flat Earth stuff, history is written by the winner of wars, the winner of conquests, the winners of explorations and stuff. The winners, they are typically the ones who take control, or and the ones who survive are the only ones to write about history. And we certainly are finding that out with Rome, which is basically Rome conquered all these people and enslaved all these people through northern Italy and then Europe and stuff, which were all these Germanic tribes, the Gauls, the Celtics, wiped them all out. Um, they marched into Spain. They went into and decimated the what do they call the Decias, or basically they were a tribe and a people of Romania and around that area, and a very distinct culture of people and stuff. And we are now discovering that they weren't barbarians and savages like the Romans depicted them. These savages who were Brutus and uncultured swine, basically, right? But in fact, that we are finding with artifacts that they were some of the most, if not the most at the time, sophisticated goldsmiths and sophisticated jewelry makers and sophisticated smelting and techniques that nowhere else in the world at the time was able to do. And in fact, that we know that their culture and traditions and other carpentry and skills and other processes were highly more advanced than just savages and barbarians like they were depicted. But in fact, a lot of these people in religious practices we have no clue about, like the Celtics and stuff, the Celtic peoples, the Druids and all that, because Rome wiped them all out and then just said that wrote whatever they want. But what I'm getting into this is all these ancient people knew about, the lands, knew about the animals, knew about, the waters, and knew about, the cryptids and Sasquatches and stuff. And they used to be called different things. We have lost the names for them. That's why they're lost. These lost cryptids, because we have this amnesia, modern humans, about everything, about every ancient knowledge and secret and tradition, basically, and that includes cryptids and stuff. And so now we're encountering Bigfoot and Sasquatches and calling them, Bigfoot. How much of a joke is that compared to certainly how in ancient times these creatures certainly would have been called. They're certainly been took as monsters and myths and these legends, that is talked about in all these cultures, every single culture in the world. It doesn't matter if they're the ancient sophisticated Greeks all the way to tribes in the wilds of Papua New Guinea or the Amazon. They talk about different cryptids and different monsters, you would say, along with the more mythological, religious stuff. But a lot of these, almost every culture has wild man legends, the wild man people, wild man characters in their stories, myths and legends usually. If not, it's always a real thing that's out there still. So it's a universal trait, it's a universal like a character, ancient character trait or character that is universal, and it's very odd and stuff. And so you go to pretty much any spot in the world, and you talk to the locals of, especially the locals that know about the old ways and stuff, and they tell you about the wild men. And a lot of the stories are very similar. That they're hairy, wild people who, on any given day might kidnap you and hurt you or leave you alone and not do anything. Uh, a lot of them can talk. A lot of them can speak the language of the people that are is in that particular area of the world. Sometimes they have supernatural powers. Sometimes they're just more uh, i- oriented with nature. Being able to do stuff with nature, in nature, having super strength, stuff like that. Um, so we have lost all this stuff, and now we're trying to pick up the pieces of, what's Bigfoot and what can they do. And now we're running out there with cameras and all this gear and stuff, and potentially, a lot of our ancestors would probably say, you're going after a troll, or you're going after an ogre, an orc, or those things, or goblins of the abyss or something, and what can be considered something totally different than what we're trying to consider Bigfoot as, or exploring the possibility. So, links in the chat for anyone to come on. This is an open platform. We're talking about pretty much anything, openness, craziness, and so yeah. In Europe, you have a lot of course, legends and tales of orcs and ogres and trolls and stuff. And if you look at some of those depictions, actually, they're kind of depicted as hairy, uh, humanoid, Bigfoot-like creatures almost. And some of them, live underneath bridges, underneath the water. Are depicted as underneath, living in the water and up in almost like coves and caves and dug out, basically beaver dens type of shelters underneath the rivers and stuff. And sometimes they would. You would hear about underneath the bridge, the troll underneath the bridge and stuff. Basically, these are just legends and stuff of seemingly stuff was happening. In every legend and myth, there's some strand of truth, that there's a parable, or there's some type of meaning or lost thing. And there's a reason why a lot of different cultures have stories of heroes and stories of gods and stories of monsters and stories of things that happened and stuff, because some of these stories come from a time where there were monsters, natural animals, megafauna, maybe even dinosaurs or like creatures that survived, the millions of years and hundreds of thousands of years, until modern humans have arrived. And some of these stories of Native American heroes battling, basically sounds like dinosaurs, honestly, and killing these things and driving them back into the earth. And uh, some of those depictions, pointing, very ancient times, hundreds of thousands of years. And we keep finding more artifacts in North America that keeps putting man in North America much older than previously thought. And we're talking so much more older now than it was 20 years ago, that it's ridiculous. And we keep finding more and more stuff and more different techniques in the way that they construct the arrowheads and or spear shafts, spearheads, arrowheads, the different flaking techniques and actually designs. So, we're finding new stuff on the Denisovans. We actually found other, there's other actual architects that could fit the Bigfoot evolutionary path that are found in China and stuff. China's finding a lot of different stuff, and some old stuff. They have a one and stuff. It's like a Puku Man or something like that, and they have skeletons and they have bones fragments and stuff. And basically, it's a humanoid and stuff. And sometimes most of the depictions, especially, it's been out for a while now. It's nothing new. Is more of a modern type of humanoid of a build and stuff. But honestly, you don't know if it's actually a more modern humanoid look or if it actually had hair. A modern humanoid looking person with hair, like Sasquatch, right? A lot of people say they have that humanoid look. A lot of people say that monster look. Uh, and there's a lot of speculation on some of these bones of these hominins that we find. How do you know that they're not hairy and uh, uh, didn't bore likeness to say more apish or Sasquatch like likeness than humans? But because we're finding bones, and Sasquatches, unless they are absolutely destroying their bones and every little bit fragments that they can, there should be bones that we find. We find dinosaur bones. We find bones a lot of places, and there's a lot of stuff that we've found that would support, upright walking hominins. So their bones are out there. We should be able to find them, possibly in caves like they do in China, right? Very ancient caves. Uh, So if Sasquatches use caves in America, North America, and stuff like that, like we believe, um, we should be able to find their bones, unless they, do something else with it. If they are burying it, again, we should find these burial spots and find these intact bones or semi-intact bones. If they're absolutely destroying it with like rocks and stuff, like in a ritualistic ceremonial destruction of the body, uh, so nothing can be found. And then now you're talking about literally just bone fragments and stuff that could be scattered around and ate by scavengers and stuff. So, uh, but again, if they're ate by scavengers and stuff openly, the potential of that bone fragment being carried and found like by people is pretty high. So, yeah, if they're destroying it, and then who knows? Who knows? Uh, I only say the destroying it because if they're burying it, or if they're, where are they taking a body of a Bigfoot, or where are they putting the bones? I mean, these things are going to pile up. Even if they get eaten by animals, there's always chunks of bones that survive. Uh, so if we're not finding any kind of chunks of bones, ancient or new, there must be something that's definitely going on, and it's not. Uh, I would say normal. I guess what humans, what it's not normal because we're not finding it, right? It's not normal, I guess, in our sense of what we're trying to think of why, what we think we would do or animals do, which is nothing, right? Animals don't do anything. They leave their dead, or they go die off in a bush in a very hard place that they can't be found. Humans bury their dead, or we've put them inside tombs, or we've put rocks on top of ourselves, or we've burned ourselves, our bodies, or we've put them at sea under the water and stuff like that. Uh, a lot of real ritualistic ceremonies, uh, and in that ancient custom of the ceremony of the burial and of death and stuff. That's actually an early intelligent civilization. Basically separates us from animals and other like hominids and upright walking ancient creatures and stuff. So if these creatures are engaging in some sort of ritualistic, and we do know that modern chimpanzees and other sometimes animals engage in death ceremonies where there's a member of the troop died, or a member of whatever died, and there's some sort of sign of grievances and stuff like that. But animals usually don't actually take care of the body and stuff. They apes and stuff will carry the a dead baby, baboon or chimp with them and stuff, and let it rot and stuff with them. But they won't, take a place and really bury and stuff. I think there's been some like shallow graves and stuff, but nothing like significant. But there is the emotion and the intelligence and the grievance and the of it there and stuff. So it's like you can see like the beginnings of the importance of there's the dead body and stuff. There's pause and emotion and stuff like that. But only humans, we go the extra lengths of burying our dead. It's very important. You always see in the Wild West. Sometimes on the trail, no matter what's hardships is going around around the people, taking the time and effort to bury the dead is of importance. So so possibly maybe they have some sort of religious uh inner workings with that, of what they do with the dead body, or or maybe they know that they shouldn't leave their dead bodies for humans, but it doesn't make sense. Why would they hide their bodies from like say Native Americans or ancient humans and stuff, right? Or it doesn't explain why we're not finding bones, right? Because if they were careless, but let's say they were born in a cave, and when they die, you know it's accustomed to them to be brought back into the cave, so you can be with your ancestors and families and stuff like that, you know like the Mayans and their the afterlife, and the tunnels and the waterways that goes in there and stuff like that, where they would sacrifice and sometimes be when your time was up, you would throw yourself in. So maybe there's something like that going on because it would explain why we're not finding all these bones of them. But if they're in a huge cache of them in the earth, in the cave systems and stuff, that could explain why we're not finding them because people really don't go exploring too much into all these caves and stuff. And when they do, there's a lot of caves that are not even found, let alone the caves that are found are fully explored. I think like mostly all of them are practically not fully explored, especially the medium to bigger size ones are definitely not explored. Um, and there's caves, the potential for caves. You guys see the map. You guys see the missing 411 map. It gets compared to the cave map. Well, that cave map is pretty accurate, but it's actually still not accurate enough because you can look at other maps and other data points of the government and the GSG surveys and stuff. And basically, there's actually even more potentials of karst systems and deep layer cave systems and waterways and aquifers, which is what karst systems basically is waterways caused in cave systems, caverns, caused by waterways basically carving out through the earth and a very unique um, topography and geography. But basically, uh, if you guys ever looked at that map, Michigan, for example, there's some areas of Michigan that are white, but if you look at other maps and other detailed uh, findings, that in fact a lot of the state is actually potential of caves and deep interworking waterways and car systems, which means even more cave systems than previously thought. So, yeah, especially entrances, like on the surface and stuff, with like big rocks or, uh, in ancient times, that's what they did too. Man did that with rocks and stuff, bigger, pretty big, sophisticated rolling rocks and stones that they would have to move and put into place. And then, you cover it with a canvas or a tarp, like a tarp, canvas, leather canvas and stuff. But basically, and uh, you put the rocks in place with the canvas, so a little bit over it, and then dirt and more rocks and stuff, and it would look like there was nothing there because you're concealing it a little bit and adding a little bit of camouflage and so there's a lot of ways that and areas that potentially we just don't go, uh, like in swamps and stuff. The potential of having like a beaver den and beaver dams and tunnels that only potentially Sasquatches know that you got to dive in this spot, hold your breath for this long, take a left here, right here, pop up for air, and you might be in some type of drainage system, or the potential of if you got to jump in this spot and get through the muck layer and pop out into the water, this water layer, and swim into the cave. There's all sorts of things that we just don't understand or we can't even explore because we're human. We're so fragile and soft skin. It's ridiculous. So, so how deep were the giant skeletons buried? Um, Honestly, it just depends. I guess I really don't can't give really an answer because they find them at different depths, I believe. But usually in North America they were found in mounds and on in the banks of rivers. There's one story where a tree fell and exposed out of the bank and stuff, out of the wall of the whole bank of the river. This giant skeleton popped out. So they're not too far buried underneath stuff. but you just got to know where to look. And in North America, if you find anything, which is pretty much everything, uh, any type of grave or anything associated with Native American culture, you cannot dig it up. You pretty much have to report it, and anything you did find, you'd have to give up, and um, that area, even if it was on your property, would automatically pretty much become off limits to you and everyone else. And a lot of times they don't study that. They don't dig it up or anything. They put the dirt back on it and they leave it off. They put it on the map and they tell you to don't mess with it, or you're gonna get fines and jail time and all that. So there's a lot of history of just Native American normal human culture that we don't even look into and explore like they do over in Europe and everywhere else in the world. You dig up and do this, and you look where everything and blah blah blah. And here, with Native Americans, no, you can't. You have to have special permits and special permission um, to do that. Even when there's new findings and there's new stuff, most of the time, especially when civilians find it, it's like no, no. But if you find a mammoth or something or a big dinosaur bone, then it's they'll dig it up and be on the news and everything like that, and everyone's going to be praising this scientific discovery and all the cultural artifacts they found, all these arrowheads in there and blah blah blah, but they won't dig up this mound of this potential Native American artifact that you found in backyards, or there's things like that. Yeah, that is definitely true. That's where it comes from. There's a lot of roadblocks, and there's people you have to please on every level, and people in groups who make their own judgment and basically want what's in it for them type of things. Universities and these grants and these special privileges and special rights and the monetization of the findings and the where will these findings go and who has ownership of it. It's a whole, it's just a game. It's just one of those fiascos that goes on with everything. So in that, there's a lot of denial. There's a lot of you can't get things done, too much roadblocks, too much hassles, not enough money, people who don't want things to be found, so they push it and suppress uh, the findings, the information that could potentially come out. So there's a lot of mysteries in North America, potentially, honestly, as much as anywhere else, but maybe even more. There's potential of amazing stuff. And of course, we know there's amazing stuff that they're not telling us, findings and stuff. You can look at, you know, the ancient stoneworks at the Baalbek, and you can uh, look at the all the ancient megalithic stone structures around the world. We don't know how they built those. We don't know how they put them in place, how they got lifted up. We can't. We don't even have enough. We couldn't even put enough cranes and heavy machinery equipment into an area to even lift these things into place, let alone build the thing. We have enough space to put every machine needed to lift the block, let alone move it, put it into place, and do it over and over again. So to say that we're living in this highly sophisticated modern age when they're able to do this, we have no idea how. There's a lot of other things that go along with that. A lot of other smaller technologies and knowledge and stuff that would go along to be able to even be able to do some of those things. So that's why I say we live in this amnesia now. We're this modern age of modern glory, but we have lost this ancient knowledge, ancient ways, and ancient understandings of everything, every day of nature, of spiritual aspects, if you want to even get into that. Um, And even our physicality. I mean, to now, we're pretty much couch potatoes compared to our ancestors. Honestly, we are just physically a wimp compared to them. Even our strongest men and women in the Olympics are nothing compared to the Olympians that came before, and it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So we do, we don't take their stories seriously, right? We find their artifacts and we find the everything else. We take it seriously, but we don't take their stories of everything seriously. You don't take you take the pyramids seriously, but you don't take all these other stories seriously. You don't um, take what they said about Atlantis or someone about the being attacked by Atlantis. Atlantis was the seafaring people that they would attack other people. And Egypt had a potential treaty going in place and stuff like that, but before the fell and stuff like that. But going way out there in the deep end today, But this is some of the stuff that I post onto the Facebook group, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, of course, on the Facebook group. Is a lot of these articles because we're finding a lot of stuff's coming out, and it's very interesting and eye-opening. And so Bigfoot would have been called something else in these ancient times, in the ancient Greek Odyssey. I believe in Homer's Odyssey, there is a character who is a hairy man, basically a very strong hero type character who is a friend of um, I can't remember his name. But it's either the Odyssey or it's the one with the Jason and the Argonauts. It's one of these ones basically, and he's covered in hair. I mean, he's pretty much just a Sasquatch, except for, and he's of a different type of people and stuff. So, and of course, in other live streams, I've showed pictures of um, the Woodwoos people of Europe, who were hairy humanoid people in Europe who were talked about in books and painted in pictures, paintings, and murals. Basically, if you see some of these paintings of them, and they have basically a shield, the coat of arms, and a weapon, and sometimes they're draped in like a lion cloth or some sort. And basically, those are representations of woodwooses who potentially converted to Christianity and was under the banner of the shield of the house or whatever nobleman or kingdom that they were serving. And so they were getting a official, basically, painting of themselves. Um, and these depiction of these woodwooses, would have these clubs, and basically they look like Sasquatches, and um, even depicted kidnapping of the women. Different texts and different authors and pictures depicting this grabbing of the women and kidnapping and leading to conflict, of course. So this is not anything new. This is just new to the modern way of thinking, the scientific way. This, which is basically everything else is uh, unbelievable until scientific eyes and inquiry can dive into it and kind of feel it and taste it and smell it before it can be presented as, oh yes, real in fact and as nature. When it's before, yes, it was magic and mysterious superstitions, but a lot of people were experiencing reality even if they didn't understand it, and chalked up some fantasy about all of it. There's some reality in it that made it such an important event and reason to chalk up these stories or even begin. to talk about that stuff. So, dealing with Bigfoot, we just don't know what they are, right? But in ancient times, you look at the Native Americans, they said that they were, a type of people. This varies. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of different tribes with different cultures, different languages, different gods, uh, names of gods and stuff. Most of the cultures are very similar, different names and stuff. It's the languages that is what really unites a lot of tribes. There's a lot of tribes with different names and different customs, and although very similar stuff with their neighboring tribe, and they are basically family of that tribe through language, culturally, they're very different. But they all have stories of Sasquatches and of other things. But so these stories are sometimes good, sometimes neutral, and sometimes very bad. And so each kind of tribe had their own distinct little, basically, relationship with these creatures. Sometimes they had trade going on where they would make baskets for the Bigfoots, and the Bigfoots would give them, meats and pelts, basically animals that they've killed, or gathering of the different herbs and stuff. Even teaching of those things, and it was good. So communication, trade. That obviously takes pretty. To get to where you're trading with the people, you have to kind of communicate and have some sort of understanding. But sometimes there's conflicts. Some Native Americans said they were straight up evil cannibal giants, or evil spirits, devils of the mountains, who would eat them, who would eat the natives, but would also cannibalize themselves. That's why they were cannibals. They weren't cannibals because they were eating the Native Americans. They were cannibals because they ate their own dead. And that's what the natives said, that they ate themselves. They ate their own dead, and they smelled of death. They smelled of decay. And those were not depicted as any sort of rational, intelligent thing that you could communicate with or trade with. That was just a bloodthirsty cannibal giant monster. So that's pretty two uh, very different ends of the spectrum. I mean, you're talking very different ends of the spectrum. A calm, intelligent creature is able to understand and calmly interact with people and trade. It's very different than a bloodthirsty cannibal giant who can't get enough, uh, can't fill its appetite enough. It's very different. So these tribes had a lot of different aspects, and sometimes, mystical attributes that they played and put onto the Sasquatch. Sometimes they were more spiritual guardians, or they had some sort of power that they could do where they could like hypnotize you or make you kind of fall asleep or confuse you or throw their voice and do these things that just was, basically supernatural to them. They had an understanding of how they could do it, so they had to come up with some type of reason. They had magic to do it, which is, they just don't understand what's going on. Now we attribute to infrasound or some other type of thing that's going on. But uh, sometimes they help people. Sometimes the Sasquatches would save people. If you saved a Sasquatch, typically the stories would go that the Sasquatches would always pretty much be in your debt, or always would go out of its way to give you food or to help you, or if you ever needed its help and were in its territory, that you could always rely on it, life or death situation. So and that there's this respect and honesty thing going on in the Algonquin language group, the Algonquin tribes, which is a lot of different tribes. The Algonquin language group, basically, in their general customized thing, Sasquatch Save means honesty, and it was depicted as honesty and stuff. So, a bloodthirsty monster would not typically be depicted as a representation of honesty. As the bear means like courage, or the eagle means this, and the beaver means this, and you can look at that as the seven teachings of the Ojibwe, which is a part of the Algonquin language group, which is the Ojibwe was a very big, powerful Native American tribe in northern Michigan and Canada. Of course, they are part of the three main tribes of Michigan, which is the Ojibwe, the Potawatomi, and the Chippewa, or also known as the Ottawa. So Chippewa, the Ottawa, they're actually the same tribe, just different names, because when the French came over and stuff, they couldn't pronounce some of the stuff. So, anyways, uh, they were three main tribes that came together, and so they share this very similar languages. They have distinct languages, but very similar words and stuff, and they kind of use the same words, and they use the same uh, spelling of stuff, but they have very distinct languages, and they have their own distinct cultural aspects. So even though they're the same Algonquin language group, and they're basically, you could generalize them as the Great Lakes region Native Americans that lived in the Great Lakes region, because they all pretty much did the same similar stuff. They're very distinct, very different and stuff, very individualistic. So when people talk about, oh yeah, Native Americans, said Bigfoot this and Bigfoot that. I mean, you're talking about, well, that's a very general, broad term that you're paintbrushing on dozens and dozens and dozens of tribes. And a lot of people just don't really know it either, because the history is erased. The history was destroyed. Unfortunately, there was war crimes, there was genocide and human rights stuff that happened, and the Trail of Tears and on these death marches that these Native Americans were forced from Michigan and a lot all over the states. Not only Michigan, not a lot of states, and they were put on the reservations. It's how a lot of these tribes from a lot of these, you know, eastern tribes that had never even been out west, tribes that have never been to the plains, never even seen out there. All these tribes were sent out there, pushed out there, and stuff, and put on these reservations and stuff like that. That's why you have different tribes that are out there because they were forced out there. There's some tribes that never got forced out there, but so there's a lot of destruction, a lot of cultural things that are lost, a lot of stuff that is very bad, knowingly, unknowingly. History is meant to be learned from, and the more it shocks you, the better, because you're better, because and it shocks you enough that hopefully you won't repeat it. That's why censorship of history is very bad, because your censorship of the truth and the emotion that it feels. Yeah. You can look at the atrocities and stuff throughout history, but that's a good thing, because hopefully it makes and reminds you and warms your heart enough and pains your heart enough that you will not let it be committed in your lifetime. So, unfortunately, there's a lot of destruction and lost history through the Native Americans, and the Bigfoot comes a part of that, and all sorts of things. And these lake monsters, these river creatures and stuff that we have reports of. It's not just Loch Ness, but we have the Ogopogo, like from Lake Ogopogo, the Ogopogo monster. There's a bunch of them actually, and a bunch of different lakes throughout Canada, and some in the U.S. of these and of rivers of these different creatures. The natives had a variety of different creatures, from water panthers to the great horned snakes, who were giant serpents who were depicted as having horns, which we have no fossil records of anything like that on North America or anywhere else. So, um, also water spirits and stuff, which could take the shape of animals and and mermaids and stuff like that. So Native Americans had. What's fascinating is a lot of the cultures around the whole world have very similar, myths and of mermaids, of water spirits, of spirits in general, or of lake monsters, river monsters, wild men type creatures, even flying type of creatures, monsters, boogeymen, uh, ghosts, cursed land, cursed objects, and things like that, or even witches and stuff, which is very fascinating. This evil magic user, and then you have shaman, which is more of a healing type of magic practice that a lot of cultures believed uh, in. So um, it's a big world, but it's kind of a small world after all because a lot of them are universal archetypes. So there's just so much we don't know, and I'm fascinated with history. I'm fascinated with culture. I'm fascinated with different cultures and uh, different types of environments and terrains, and Sasquatches and other cryptids are reported, in the deserts of the Sahara, into the deserts, into the wilds of the Gobi Desert, all the way to Mongolia, Siberia, India, and all over the world. There's just so many different unique places and unique, amazing cultures around those places too, and very unique cryptid legends and monster stories that it's so fascinating that when you really look at the sheer scale of and uniqueness of all these cultures and landscapes and what they're all talking, the similarities that these people are talking about over here and these people are talking about here, that there has to be some shred of truth to it. There has to be, even if 1% is true. There is some unique, undiscovered cryptid creature out there that is truly fascinating that would probably blow the doors off modern thought of evolution and the whole unique species. So glad to see everyone's in here. I will be right back. I gotta check something real quick, but links in the chat, guys. I'll put it there again, and anyone can join, have fun, kick back on this Saturday night. So we just got started, pretty much an hour in. Caller Keds, James said he pretty much stopped by a little bit later, so we'll expect him to be in and give us a new rundown and go through some new stuff. So I'm gonna be right back, guys. Give me about 3 minutes.
All right. Just back. And yeah, I had to let the dog out. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, they are a brain bug. Of course. Skeptics are welcome. I'm definitely a hardcore uh believer, knower. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. I've encountered them. I've seen them and stuff at night, heard them. Have stuff thrown. Like the only thing I really am looking for now is a daytime sighting of a good daytime sighting of a Sasquatch. Not a fleeting glimpse. I've had a pretty good fleeting glimpse of where I've seen that and stuff, and at nighttime I can see the silhouette, and uh, about as good as you can get at nighttime at that distance. But yeah, of course, skeptics are welcome. I mean, you skeptics are welcome to go out in the woods with us. If you want to come out and come to Michigan, we'll take you out to some spots, and hopefully we can get some interactions for you that can maybe not make you 100% to believe it, but maybe puts you up there a couple of percentile points towards believing. So, uh, yeah, links in the chat for anyone who wants to come on, actually. But talk about whatever. I actually didn't plan on talking about all this Native American ancient stuff, but it's interesting to me, and it is kind of relatable to Sasquatch because there's the cover up. We know the Smithsonian covers up and takes all these bones that they find of giants or Native American, highly interesting stuff. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. There's probably hundreds, actually, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of reports of the Smithsonian, things being shipped there, things being in the possession that go missing, that are never to be seen again, that somehow it's the same old, same old. It's just that it goes missing, never to be seen again. The Smithsonian has them, or they lost them, or they destroyed them. Hopefully not. Hopefully they actually have them somewhere stored. But if you look into the head of the Smithsonian and some of the heads of these, especially of evolution and of they were very well. They were some of them were racist against Native Americans, and they were very just headstrong on their thought process on acceptable things of importance of Native American value, and some of it, was thrown away, destroyed, and not taken seriously because again they were just savages and or dirt people who lived out in the woods and had no sophistication or culture or any type of skills or carpentry or fabric making. But we do definitely know it's different. They just lived closer to nature, but they were highly advanced and as smart as any modern people, and highly efficient warriors. Actually, they used to be one of the best, uh, especially for people who fought against people with guns. And plus, their adaptation of the weapon of guns and of horses was very rapid and stuff, and showed the prowess and adaptability of these kind of people. Unfortunately, it was a war that they never could win. So they were wiped out. And of course, what happens when you are the loser of a war or loser of history? You are forgotten about. You are not written well about, and you are usually degraded, dehumanized, and you end up basically on the back burner of history. So yeah, I was gonna go out last weekend and stuff. Unfortunately, I had some sort of accident where I blew the. I'll show you guys. I blew the blood vessels in my eye and stuff. So I've been taking it easy to not stress my eye out or have to go to the hospital or anything like that. It looks pretty bad, but as long as it doesn't get worse or doesn't interfere with anything, I should be all right. So we'll have this. Take a look at this, guys, for you. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly and stuff. So I chose not to definitely go out and strain this and stuff anymore and stuff. I kind of got sick and I was throwing up in the morning. Woke up sick and threw up. Basically ate too late at night too much and a little too much spicy stuff and ruptured my freaking blood vessels in my eyes. And so I don't want to be camping and pushing and carrying everything. And even though I'm sure I would be all right, if this does get worse or if it goes into your iris or if it hurts or if I lose vision or anything, I gotta go to the hospital. So there's no reason to strain myself, and it should clear up, in 3 weeks total time. And if it doesn't by then, or if it looks pretty nasty, I gotta go in. So yeah, but I'll give it about a week or two, and then should be all right to go out and do stuff. So no, I don't feel it. It doesn't hurt. Don't. I mean, it hurt when I did it. I didn't realize this happened, but yeah, you throw up or sometimes you cough. You kind of feel the bulging in your eyes and stuff. But apparently, that was pretty bad. So yeah, can't even work out or do anything, do any push-ups. I just don't want to push any more blood into the eye or whatever. Yeah, I didn't want to though. I wanted to get out there and do some more solo stuff and do more investigation and try to get out there and do some stuff. But yeah, it happens. Whatever. Bigfoots aren't going anywhere. I've been doing some different solo stuff at different spots with not much action, but we're in plan with the other members and actually hook up with some other different independent researchers and go to different spots. Try to see if we can get some action at some of these other spots, but it's just the name of the game. Sometimes, I mean, we've been to a spot where camp out there and really nothing really happens, and then I go and we go, and all of a sudden there's stuff crawling through the brush, and we're seeing orbs, getting the orbs on film and capturing on camera, and people are getting touched by stuff that they can't see and stuff like that. So, and that's literally going there and staying for 2 hours. So it's kind of a hit and miss sometimes. It honestly is. I go in there expecting this area just to be rocking, and literally nothing happens. And then so that kind of makes it like, well, and you kind of go to the area. And it's like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll go here, and not really expecting anything to happen. All of a sudden, you have this amazing, like, holy crap, I can't believe this happened. And I got the audio, reviewed the audio of Kirsten getting touched, and yeah, I'm actually filming on the GoPro, but I guess my light's either not on or I'm trying to capture this light in the tree line is what I'm trying to do. You can't see it, but yeah, she got grabbed, and you can hear the audio of it. So we're kind of looking into doing some stuff and trying to get things going and stuff for her. But with some of the stuff that she caught on the phone, and then she has the pictures and stuff. I wasn't going to show on the show. Trying to get her on, she won't come on. But her ghost encounters, her ghost evidence. So I might be showing that next show for you guys, because I don't think she's not about coming on at all, or she don't really care to do YouTube stuff or be and any kind of video to talk about her stuff. It's just stuff that happens, and you know, it just happens to her. You know, she enjoys kind of going out, but doing a thing. But like, she's not really. She doesn't care to talk about it or be on a show and stuff. And although I think it'd be fun and stuff, she would enjoy it. But you guys, I think, would just be blown away, especially with her telling it. You know, it's for me. If I'm telling all the stories, you know, it's one thing, but you can from her, you can see it firsthand. You know, it's gonna blow you away. But you know, she's just honestly just not don't really care. I don't care about being on the show or being on the camera. Yeah, you know, whatever. So, but I think I'm gonna try to at least get her to be on film for the Dogman encounter that me and her had. We witnessed, because that's pretty epic, and she, you know, she kind of knows that, and she kind of did tell me that she would. So, you know, let's kind of dive into the Dogman thing. I've been actually thinking about that lately, which I hate that word. I hate Dogman. I would prefer the term lichen, actually, because what I seen was certainly not a dog, man. It was a natural wolf that ran in the middle of the road, huge, massive size. You know, I guess as big as wolves typically would get, I would assume, in northern Michigan. I've never seen one out in the wild that close, but it was massive. And when he got in the field, as we're driving and we're passing him side by side, you know, he had stood up and he's running like a person. He's running like a person. That wolf that was on all fours, that looked 100% natural. There's nothing paranormal about it. There's nothing super muscle bound werewolf like this thing's gonna rip the car in half. Like it's just a normal wolf. I mean, it's amazing because it shouldn't be in this area, but there's nothing otherworldly about it. When it got up and it fluidly just was running on all fours, and all of a sudden it just popped up and started running and doing the locomotion and hand movement like a human would run, and continued to run. And we drove by, and you know, it was just like I turned, you know, looked at her. You see that? You see that? You know, what was that? What'd you see? What'd you see? You know, did you see it? Did it run like a person? Did you see it running like a person? And yeah, I seen it. And, you know, I would like to call it like a lichens. You know, it's a lichen. It's a wolf, not a werewolf, not a, you know, that I know of. Maybe who knows? It could be a witchcraft, it could be a skinwalker type thing. I mean, I don't know. I didn't walk up to it and talk to it. You know, I don't have its body. I don't know. We don't know what it is. But it was certainly, I don't like the word dog, man. It's not a dog. It didn't look like man, you know, it's a wolf. It's a wild wolf. It's not a dog. So this liking creature, yeah. No, we got a guest. This creature, you know, I don't know what it is. All right.
Hey,
okay,
whoa.
we got Bree. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, what's up with you? And what's on your mind?
No, I'm Brainbug from the side chat there. So that I've been on your channel before. We talked about your Stickman encounter. You better put on my glasses. But yeah, so I've talked to you before. You were talking about the afterlife a minute ago, and I found that kind of interesting. So I thought I'd come in and poke around and see what we're dealing with, what your thoughts are and your beliefs about the afterlife. We're talking about hauntings and ghosts. Can't help but mention that upcoming here in the U.S., at least, we have the Memorial Day weekend where everybody goes to the graveyard and memorializes soldiers lost, and then there's Gettysburg is a big destination for Memorial Day for a lot of Americans. And Gettysburg is famous for its replay hauntings. So, when you think of the Gettysburg hauntings, do you think that there are actually spirits that are trapped there, or do you think that it's some kind of just like burned image in the, the retina of history?
There's something going on there.
Mm.
You know, that's the bigger question. You know, what exactly it is. I don't know. You know, we don't know. It seems like I think it's the land and stuff. Just that horrific events, just horrific energy that just ripped across the entire space of time itself, pretty much stuck in an echo of time.
So you think there's like an energy to it, something detectable maybe that we could like pick up on?
Well, yeah, something like that. Even with regular intelligent ghosts that interact with people, there's some type of energy obviously going on. We can see it, so we visually can see it through light and through representation of. So there is some energy going on, and
some kind of physical interaction for people to
capturing on
experience.
a camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think and a lot of people go out there and try to get stuff, and there's that old, very famous footage of the '90s or whatever, where their spirits are walking and stuff. It's pretty famous, pretty good.
From Gettysburg, yeah. There's a few
from Gettysburg. It hasn't been debunked or anything that I know of.
But you don't think that that Gettysburg, that there's actual spirits attached to that phenomena?
I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, it could be. I don't know. I used to be into ghost stuff and stuff, but it's very complicated. And when you get into religious aspects, like I'm a Christian. I come from the Christian background of the afterlife and stuff. So
that was I was going to ask you about that. What your thoughts are on like destinations after you die and things like that? And you think like the spirits would be like caught in between worlds, kind of? And this is why I came in here. So I'm sorry if you're not like up to talk about ghosts. That's what I wanted to engage you about today. So
no, we can. It's still fascinating stuff. I think there are obviously some type of spirits trapped here. I've had ghostly experiences, and it comes to that. There comes a evil side to that. That's why I don't get into that. But there seems to be some type of when you die and stuff, you go to a different type of spiritual world, right? The spirit world. And some say it's just like a record player. You just skip to the next line. It's still playing on the timeline. And that's why, whatever's going on, they can see us, and sometimes we can see them. It's just because they're on the next level. But
so you think it's like a dimensional thing, maybe?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you die, even the Christians, if you go from the biblical side of things, when you die, you go into some type of spiritual place that depending on your beliefs and the Christian, either, actually people are not in heaven right now or not in hell yet, but actually just dead, waiting to go there, or, whatever, they're in one place or the other. But before that, right?
Different denominations have different interpretations.
Right.
And hell itself is really just, it's more of a modern concept. Like Dante is where we really get a lot of our representation of what hell would be like. Where the Bible talks about the word hell that's translated to hell in the Bible. There's 3 different words that are translated to hell. And then when they did the King James version of the Bible, it kind of mushed them all together.
The English version. Yeah, they talk about like Tartarus and the more ancient abyss type of things. But say before you get into heaven, you come to the gates of heaven, the doorways and stuff, right? Or before, people say they end up, or they have these experiences of near death, or they're in this dark room, and then all of a sudden they get plunged down into this darkness, and that they're going to hell. So they're in some type of dimensional space before going either way or whatever which way. And maybe there's a potential of being stuck in this space and wandering outside of this, 2-option way. And there's just a lot of mysteries we just don't know, right? I mean, but the concept of the spiritual stuff and ghosts and in this afterlife is ancient concepts, and a lot of human history has been devoted to contacting spirits and understanding spirits, or conjuring up spirits and stuff like that. So I think that, there is conscious spirits and ghosts, but there's also like replays of the land or just horrific events of some sort.
So when you talk about near-death experiences, an interesting thing I've learned recently, just in the last year or so, was that when people die, there's been people that they're hooked up to all these machines and things that are monitoring their brain activity as they slip away. And the monitoring their brain activity and the reactions of the parts of the brain that are affected are in correlation with the same parts of the brain that are affected when you have like a DMT trip. And the brain actually releases a little bit of DMT, just like a micro dose of DMT in your brain when you die. It's really an interesting concept. So people have these near death experiences. They're going on this trip, and I mean they at the point where they think that they're dying, and then the DMT kicks in, and they're like, whoa! And they have a lot of the same types of experiences. These, what they call them, spiritual occurrences that happen under the influence of this DMT. I have a friend that's on YouTube. That's all his channel's about is how DMT can get you a spiritual awakening.
Right. A lot of it, which is interesting about DMT, we can get into. But about that is, a lot of it's, I guess most of it you hear is the Christian side of things. I haven't heard too many like Hindu near-death experiences where they talk to their Hindu gods and stuff like that. I know there's a bunch of them. I don't know all their names or nothing like that. But like, but when you hear about people taking DMT and they talk about these machine elves or these
machine elves. Love that.
That's what I've heard and stuff, right? So, but like all these people are kind of seeing these things, and it's very similar and stuff. Whereas,
yeah,
like I said, when people have near-death experiences, some people who are not Christian at all say that they meet Jesus and stuff. Where you would think that because of your own religious background, you would DMT and imagine whatever Hindu or Islam or whatever religious background, Buddhism. But some of those, in fact, meet Jesus or meet, or more of the Christian side of things, which is very, very odd and weird. So there is some mechanisms going on, we just don't know. We are a complete mystery. I mean, we have a lot of medical knowledge, but we still don't know how this thing operates and still works, and still how it can do everything it can do, and all the things that we don't know it can do, but we know that it's doing, or how it's doing it.
Right, the brain is studying like neurology, and and that interlinking with psychology and how all those functions interact and interweave together. And then you get into metaphysics, the idea of like dualism or what have you.
Then when you die, it's like, well, your spirit or your brain or your energy or the whatever mechanism, your consciousness, or your spirit, right? You leaves, and now you're in the spirit world, right? Which is what? Is it your metaphysical astral projection self? Now it's left your body because it's dead. It's your brain, right? Then now is what it's floating out there. It is what it is, and now it's.
Well, the thing is, I can't think.
You have all these other forces and stuff, good and bad.
I can't think of any other physical laws that would allow something like that to keep it that wavelength or whatever from dissipating. Like, say your soul is an energy on a certain wavelength. It needs to be. It's like a mind without a brain. You can't really. It's not really a thing that we're aware of, other than theologically speaking, that people talking about like a god or something, and. It's not evident, but it's something people take on faith, right?
Right. There's some people who don't believe in faith at all, but believe like in energy, or energy can't be destroyed, or or nothing like that. So,
thermodynamics, yeah, that's.
There's what science. Then people get into, well, there's good energy and then there's bad energy, and that's just what it comes down to. There's this good and evil, whether it's God or the devil. There's a good energy of the world, there's a bad energy of the world, and some people think that they have their own metaphysical and supernatural properties and magic, or
So what is
quantum properties about that things. And you look at
is there good energy and bad energy, or is there good intentions and bad intentions? I mean, really,
that's kind of the same energy. I mean, if you take a plant and you yell at it, scream at it, and or eat mad at it, that plant will grow not good. It'll grow crappy. But if you take a plant and you love it and you sing to it and you nurture it, that plant will grow much, much better. And so it's not the words coming out of your mouth. Obviously, that plant doesn't understand what you're saying. But somehow you are projecting your energy or whatever onto the planet, and it is affecting that thing. So they don't,
they've done some experiments with that, like different types of music and stuff too, to see how
music too,
plants will respond to it. So there's there may be something that the plant responds to with different sounds in the environment that cause it to react in different ways. Plants are really interesting.
Kid joining us.
Yeah, you call our kid.
James himself. How's it going, James?
I wasn't gonna join until you I don't like talking about religion because there's a lot of judgmental people in the chat I see, And so I was gonna wait till you stopped talking about it, but then you said spiritual, so now I'm here.
Well, it's an open mic. We're kind of open about things. We can debate. You don't have to go to war over things, right? Everyone has their own opinion about everything, okay?
I just don't like talking about it in general.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm one of the people that came across as judgmental to you.
No.
I like to engage in the conversation about it. Talking about
I just don't want to.
Stuff is really one of my favorite things.
No, I just don't like talking about religion.
Yeah. We actually started off talking about the ghost of Gettysburg. Do you want to have any thoughts on that? Kind of a famous haunting, the replay hauntings that are supposed to happen there. There's Last Cryptid had explained earlier. There's a kind of, what's that famous video called? I don't know. We could probably look it up and pull it up.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't even know what it's called. It's just
there's so many
famous Getty ghost video.
There's so many paranormal things that happen in Gettysburg. I've been there once. It's pretty spooky. So,
did you get any footage yourself?
Oh no, I went a long time ago. When I was 12.
Yeah, so during your childhood you went.
Yeah.
I get it.
It was more of a camping / hiking trip, so it wasn't ghost related, and also I wasn't really into the paranormal at that stage. So
yeah, no, that's cool. I was just interested to see any novel footage or novel photographs would be amazing to have. Something that hadn't been seen before, and really give your channel a little boost there, Lost Cryptid. If he pulled up some old photos from when were you that age, in the early 2000s? So some 20-year-old photos, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard of newer stuff coming from the Gettysburg hauntings or stuff. I know a couple years ago there's some orbs and stuff caught, but those could be suspect. But that old Gettysburg that shows the soldiers walking in a place or something, something like that.
Multiple a line of men marching or something that's just a gray blur.
Yeah, nothing I know of, but I really don't follow that kind of sort of stuff because you get into ghosts and you get into this evil side of these things are tricking you, and then they say poltergeists, these evil things happen, then demons and stuff like that. Then whether you're religious or not, believe in God or not, or whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter. There's something going on that's interacting with you. It's not good and nefarious, and you can feel the dread and stuff. So that's probably just universally probably not something good you should probably interact with.
There's things in our environment though that can cause that sense of dread that are totally natural, like infrasounds that you can't even hear, with your physical ears, but your brain reacts to them. There's been a few studies on that as well. I think that's related to how we respond to a big cat roaring in the distance. Which is interesting to think about because we our species grew up in Africa, so having lots of big cats around to be wary of.
So that's why people think Bigfoot is doing this sort of dread thing, this infrasound. It's because it's a more natural way to explain this, which I think makes more sense than supernatural powers. But they just do things that we don't know. And potentially, maybe if they're doing like say different tones, or if they're able to really produce this infrasound, and they're able to practice it, not like an animal, but intelligently practice it and do, let's say, different levels or tones. Some people think they can shoot it at people in the middle of a group of people and only hit that person, which really doesn't make sense if they're using like sound waves and the way that sound really works when you shoot it out of you. But let's just say that they're able to like tone it or change it up a little bit and maybe have different effects on you where it maybe makes you scared or it makes you sleepy, makes you tired, or makes you confused. I mean,
there is scientific basis for using infrasound as a weapon. Sperm whales do cephalopods, like squid and stuff. They like stun them with their sound waves. As a sperm whale, they're huge, so they produce a pretty potent sound. But yeah, that's interesting about Sasquatch using that sort of innovation.
That extra capacity is what it is. And, if they ever concentrate on making the infrasound, it could be a potential lot of power concentrated, and who knows? There's a lot of speculation and weird stuff that goes on. But infrasound does explain a lot of different stuff, and
a lot of those feelings that you have, the uncomfortable feelings. Yeah.
What's your take on like the electronic equipment failures and stuff that seems to happen with people exploring Sasquatch areas and like
recording equipment and going on the fritz and not capturing things correctly.
SD card failures or all sorts of things. There's not just
I would like to
audio equipment failures or static electricity that seems to be heard on audio and stuff like that. I mean, there's a bunch of things going on.
Those are the things that the phenomena that happens that it's really hard to pin down if you're aware of it because you're thinking about it, or what they call counting the hits and ignoring the misses of this thing happening. Like your camera fails, there are camera failures all the time, SD card failures all the time. Are you only counting it because it was at this moment that you were trying to do this and it happened? Is that the reason why it's seeming like it's happening more frequently when you're out in the field looking for Sasquatch? I don't know the statistics on that, but being very aware of camera failure, like I know that it seems like my camera always fails, or I used to be one before I had a lot more storage, that my phone storage would always be full at just the worst freaking time when I was trying to take pictures of my kids, or we were on vacation or whatever. It'd just be full and I wouldn't be able to take any more pictures. And I would be very aware of that. So I'd be or my SD card failed on my camera when we're out on the boat and we can't get video of the dolphins because the SD card failed. Those are things that have, that actually happen during other events where I've got a camera and I'm out there in the field. So is it really happening more when you're doing Sasquatch stuff, or is it just that you're aware that people are interacting and comparing tales about, and then kind of the one that got away, and then my SD card failed, but I didn't get the footage or what have you?
Yeah, I can see that. From my own experience, I would say, maybe some of those could be natural stuff, but there was other times where I had failures that shouldn't have happened, or this latest one in the GoPro happened up in the UP. I shot like 10 minutes worth, and you play it, and it's the screen, and it's awesome. All of a sudden, it's like everything goes into light speed mode, and it goes like this and turns, and there it goes. I don't know. I was like, okay, well, that's a new one. But I've had.
Did you have any experiences while you were out there? Have any feelings or anything?
In that particular shooting, that particular at that moment in time for that section? No. But later at night, of course, we encountered what we were assumed were Sasquatch activities, stuff being thrown, calls made. Me and Jason Kenzie actually seen and tried to, and we filmed our encounter as it happened. Two individuals, silhouettes at nighttime, eye shine they were reflecting off our headlights, but I can see the silhouette of this massive head, especially when it turned and kind of looked up at the other one that was 8 foot tall, standing tree peeking at us. And anyways, I've talked about it a number of times. You guys can watch the actual encounter. It's Jason Kenzie and Blake Doischer's Bigfoot encounter, and it's the raw, unedited footage of the whole thing. And we capture eye shine.
Okay. You did get something then. Okay.
We use there's evidence of eye shine in different spots that we use very close to us and very big. That it's kind of scary because it was standing right there. It's standing close enough that we don't notice it, and they are walking around us, and we're walking in.
What state were you in?
Michigan. We were up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
I think we talked about it last time I came on here, but going to cervids are there. They have, of course, white-tailed deer, moose, maybe
black bear.
Yeah, there's some moose up there. There's we have 1.7 million deer here in Michigan.
Yeah, a lot of deer. I know.
So
white-tail populations are they don't have any natural predators, so they just
not really. No, not really here in Michigan. We have some introduction of wolves up in the UP and stuff, but the official populations are nothing, basically.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, that's the exception. The ones that have been reintroduced, there haven't been wolves in Michigan for over a century though. Until then, so.
Like in Lower Michigan, but they claim that there's really nothing in Lower Michigan. But we do know for a fact we've got evidence of footprints in Lower Michigan that are of wolves. So.
Wolves. Cool.
Yeah, so the numbers are, I think, underreported. I feel, or the ranges are definitely not definitely farther than what they're saying officially with the DNR. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like sometimes they don't want the public to panic, like the introduction of the cougars and stuff, because there are cougars.
What I was about to say. That's more like around here in Illinois. That's more about the.
And they're not talking
the wolves. Yeah.
And I think that they're letting it happen. They want it to happen. They just don't want the public to panic about it. And until one day it's like, well, they've actually been here for like this many years, and we can show you that there's been no attacks in this state in this many years when we've conducted this operation of
livestock predation too is something they're probably tracking pretty regularly as well.
Yeah, so it's so they can be able to say, well, even though we did this behind your back, it's much safer statistically to have these things in our states like this than to like swim in the ocean, right? Or more likely to get struck by lightning or something like that.
Right. Yeah, because we need them to balance the ecosystem. Like we were just talking about the white-tailed deer population. Yeah.
This as a species from being endangered.
Right.
Basically.
All right. Well, I'm going to bounce. It was fun chatting with you.
Oh yeah, of course. Anytime. You're welcome.
Good night.
Skeptics are always welcome to stuff.
Mm-hmm. Take care, guys.
Yeah, you too. It was fun. All right. Well, what's new with you, Carl? Okay, anything interesting?
No, not really. I've been trying to go out with this one person. Well, not really trying. I attempted from one of the Michigan, I think, Gum Show group. Some person wanted to go out in like Pontiac area.
No,
I was like, me and Gabe can help you out if you need to, but I haven't really heard back. So
yeah, I got a new spot. I kind of told you guys about in the chat a little bit that maybe.
Yeah, I won't be able to go out until I won't be able to go out until after June 5th. because I'm working on a car. So
Yeah. Is it one of those rally racers you're gonna destroy, or is it something?
Yep.
Nice, man, nice.
We got 3 weeks left, so actually 2 weeks left. So we gotta
working hard, man.
We're all into it. Yep.
Awesome. That's awesome stuff, dude.
After that, I'll be good though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was kind of a good thing we didn't really go out like this month or this last month. There's a lot of storms that hit Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Just had tornadoes that.
Yeah, Gaylord got hurt.
Up in Gaylord, which is pretty up there in northern Michigan. And so there's a lot of areas and stuff that probably got hit. You definitely don't want to be camping underneath a tree that's not stable. It's going to break off and be called the next widow maker. So, and gotta let my eye heal and stuff. I don't want to.
Yeah, good thing about waiting is that there's a lot of shrubbery and greenery popping up. So,
I looked. I know. Yeah. No, I've been going out and stuff, but
I go for hikes every now and then, and every time I go, it's like maybe like a few days within each other, I can just see like huge changes. So
yes, this is
awesome. Growing time rapidly. Yep.
And once it's fully green, they're gonna get more bold and they'll be able to sneak up right by it, because you'll be able to look. You used to be able to see like, wow, I could see all the way down this particular hill and stuff, and now it's like I can't even see like 20 feet in. You can't, and they're going to use that to their advantage, and they know that we're at a disadvantage like that for sure. And so they get a little bit more brave. They come closer, and interaction usually picks up a little bit more. So,
where is Yale, Michigan?
Yeah, Yale.
I found it. All right.
As I say, that's over a year away or something, I believe.
No, it's north of. I don't even know.
It's like west of Flint area.
It's east of Lapeer, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, Lapeer, I know.
Yeah, there's a spot over there I want to go to with Tyler, but he's not available all the time.
Nope. Life is life. It comes first. I know that. That everyone knows that, but we kind of got some big trips planned. Hopefully, to get the whole group going and get out there for more than a couple of days. We got so many spots that there's just not enough time to go to all of them. But I have actually been mapping out different stuff and compiling different data that we're going to share in a different stream. But it's kind of frightening, kind of creepy. And
oh, that's the one you told us about. Yeah.
There is some definitely a lot more things going on.
You're talking about the one.
It's like missing 411 stuff, basically. There's a lot of missing people.
You said the one where there's like a mysterious thing there. When you go, you feel like weird. You're talking about that one?
No. And I'm talking generally, in general. No, I meant how there's a bunch of spots.
Are you talking about that one by that ski place?
No.
The big ski mountain,
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope, not talking about that. I don't even know what. I honestly don't even.
It's like right across from where it is.
No.
I'm using context clues.
What I was going to say is, a lot of people like to paint Bigfoot as friendly creatures, and there's a lot of missing people in a lot of these states. Even if they're not even on 411, missing because they don't fit all the categories. Random people shouldn't go missing out in the woods and randomly die in the woods and have no visible injuries or no cause of death. No real cause of death other than exposure from 1 night or 2 nights, which
I found it.
Most average adult people should be able to survive an average cold night, even if it dips into hypothermic levels, I mean, most average people have enough, fat storage and stuff that they can survive a night out in the cold and out starving and stuff, lost. But some of these people are found that don't even look like they've like tromped through the woods and look like they got really muddied, like they've been lost and trying to find their way out. And or people are hunting and there's a person last in line, and all of a sudden he's gone and never to be seen again. And the two friends are just like, he was there one minute, and next minute he's completely gone. Didn't hear, see nothing. So
yeah, Northman's Keep. If you go a little bit east of that place, there's a big old area that's had sightings all around it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Michigan's a hotspot. There's sightings everywhere. There's literally sightings in every single county. In every county, there's sightings and stuff reported. Multiple sightings.
Just be careful where you go. Just wear orange, so you don't get shot.
Yeah, there's no real hunting season right now, other than I don't know, spring
Small
turkeys
and turkey, maybe. Yeah.
Nope, small game's done.
Oh, okay.
It ends in April. Spring turkey. There's some spring like turkey season and spring, which are more expensive to get into, and some of them are lottery.
Oh, well, I just saw some turkeys today, so.
Yeah, so that's not like everyone out. No, it's small game is from like September to April.
Northman's Keep, that is not the area I'm talking about. I think.
Yeah, Cass River. That's in the thumb area, which is.
Yeah, I said east of the one that you're going to.
A lot of
more. It's more southeast.
A lot of sightings up in the thumb area of Michigan, historically and stuff, and a lot of people are like, "Yeah, there's no way, there's no land," and because they're thinking of Sasquatches have to live on a mountaintop in the Pacific Northwest. Sasquatches are adapted to the landscape and state that they're in, and are adapted to the modern settlement of that land. So here in Michigan, we have a lot of farmland. Midwest, a lot of farmland. Sasquatches have adapted to live in farmland and thrive in the woods, but in the fall, when the crops are tall, the corn's up, the beans are up, and the squash and soybeans, I mean, they are pigging out and probably laying down in the cornfields, laying down in the field all day and all night, pigging out and ambushing anything that comes. Why? Because it's private property. Really, no one besides the farmer or his family, let's say kids, are going to be running around in that field legally. So they really don't have to worry about really anyone. And by the time that farmer is out there with that tractor, they're long gone. So, and there's actually a number of reports of them hunting in the cornfields and them being in the cornfields and being very adapted at being there. And so you look at Michigan, you look at all the farmland, you look at all the potential private property, and when the fields are in full crop, full harvest, ready to go, and everything's ripe, that's a lot of land, a lot of coverage that, if you look, you can't see in those cornfields and stuff. There's a lot of land, more space available. So, at nighttime right now, there's nothing in the field. They just wait till nighttime to move across the land. And of course, they're not going to be caught in the middle of a field in the daytime. They can't help it. But they do stuff during the day. They don't care if they get seen. There's a lot of reports of them being seen during the day and just being like, oh well. And Some of them not really. Sometimes you think, oh yeah, they care. They want, they got to hide and be super stealthy. But there's other reports of them just not really giving a crap about you, about what you see, about anything, and they're gonna do whatever they want. So it's kind of weird.
We do have a question.
Yeah, I see. You think that they're nesting underground?
I
heard
you can
recently
answer that one.
they dig really easily and fast, so it would seem they could be almost anywhere. Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards this underground. It might not be like every single area has this underground entrances and stuff, but I feel like there are definitely some like major hub entrances of this underground places where these things go, for sure. Because if they were living outside all the time and just, again, if they died, if they're, what happens to their body, if they're burying their dead, like there'd be some more evidence and stuff, and evidence of ground nests, evidence of bedding and stuff. I mean, even when a deer lays down outside overnight, you can see this. You can see where it laid down for like the whole next day. So we think we'd be able to find more evidence of them, like nesting up, laying, and doing different stuff like that. Or in winter, where this last winter I was like, I had it all planned out. I know exactly where they should be. I think that they're going to be this way. I should be so full of myself, kind of. I think that I was going to be able to go in this area and really track them and really find them, and it was not like I assumed it would be, surprisingly. But they were in the area, I don't know. I don't go inside the river systems and try to look underneath up, put my life in danger by looking underneath the shelves of a creek wall and, try not to get stuck underneath a tree, in a creek and drown and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of places where humans just aren't looking or really can't look, without special equipment.
Yep.
Unless
you have like one of those meters that costs like a lot of money that you can just
LiDAR and stuff.
Yeah, you can just travel over, the area and see if anything's below it. Like how
far. But yeah, it does do a lot, but I think you need special permits to, like, you couldn't do that. You need a special permit to do that on any national forest or state property.
Well, if no one sees you.
Yeah, well, you better not get caught, because you can get banned. You get kicked and not be able to go there and stuff. So yeah, but you could get permit. You write up a synopsis of basically what you're trying to do and pay the money and get it approved. I'm sure you could do it, but they they don't. Like I said, North America, they don't do a lot of stuff like that. It's very controlled, and usually on big sites, big, well-known sites. But they are finding like huge pyramids in like the Amazon, and they're trying to use that in like Indonesia and Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I saw that.
On different islands. So at least over there, they're trying to like find their lost knowledge, lost history. Over here, we try to suppress it.
Yep.
So yeah.
How did that happen to your eye?
I woke up, got sick, was throwing up pretty bad. I'm a pretty violent puker to where, like, it's gonna come all out. I'm not gonna stop until my stomach's pretty much empty, and my body feels like it's empty enough.
Okay.
So yeah, like it's pretty rough and stuff, and it just freaking. I mean, nothing hurt. I didn't really feel any more than normal. Sometimes when you throw up and it's pretty rough, your eyes, you can feel the strain on your eyes. But apparently, I woke up like the next day or two, and yeah, kept getting told, man, your eye's bad, and it got pretty bad now. But
yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh my god.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything. It's not inside the iris, which would be a bad sign.
Yeah.
There's some things that I gotta go to the hospital, obviously, if it happens, but I'm good. No blurred vision, doesn't hurt, nothing like that. So
That's good.
it should heal on its own.
Yeah, I had some
hearing.
I had some hearing loss the last week.
Damn.
I had
what'd you do?
backed up earwax and had to go to the doctor, and they flushed it out. But I couldn't hear in this ear for like a week. It was awful.
Damn, that's messed up.
Yeah. I was kind of losing my mind a little bit. Because I want to go through my audio, but I can't because I can only hear half of it.
Dang.
Yeah. I'm good now, though. So.
That's good. That's good. It's good to hear. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, this is not really affecting anything, so I'm just doing everything like normal, like I normally would, because I'm not going to baby myself, other than I'm not going to do physical stuff, strain myself, no push-ups or no exercises, no going camping out in the woods.
Even though you want to.
Yeah. I would have just got rained on most of the night, but
yeah, you probably would have.
It's been fun. I got some new equipment. I've been shopping.
Yeah, I heard you were gonna get something. Which one did you get?
I don't know. I'm still picking. I haven't ordered it yet.
Oh, I thought you did.
I'm thinking it's gonna probably be a night vision thing, honestly, because
no, not audio recording.
I go, yeah. It's like audio is really good, and there's some things I want to do, but if I would have had any type of like the night vision I'm trying to get, when me and Jason had our encounter, you'd been able to see it. You'd been able to identify it. You'd been able to see everything. It's not like blurry, nothing. You'd have been able to pick it up. So this be able to see 100 yards, 200 yards, 100 yards, clear picture. So don't need nothing that's super massive. I just need something that's. Because that's most of the time.
Weren't you thinking about getting a drone?
Yeah, but just
too expensive.
No, not that. It's just
it's not really that.
In the meat and the heart of it,
Yeah.
You're gonna be in the middle of the woods at nighttime. It just goes back to me and Jason's encounter.
Yeah.
If you guys watch our encounter,
you wish you had a thermal.
Yeah, I did. I could have had one on that day. Should have had one. But,
Yeah.
People are thieves and stuff and want to be manipulated to other people, which is fine. Karma's, I guess, karma's happening. So I guess we'll keep letting it be. But if I would have had the camera and stuff and stuff that I have, even a cheap one, we would have been able to get better footage. So it really comes down to that, is because I want to be able to see in the dark and get in my film, because if they're that close, they should be able to get that close again. And these other times where they were that close or close enough that maybe we could have got at least eye shine, because this is gonna pick up. Obviously it shoots IR and stuff. It's picking up ambient light and IR light. So eye shine, like we caught, would have picked up, really would have seen. So we're going to be doing that, I think. It's not going to be stabilized or anything. which, you know, is whatever, but I can be stable enough to try to get the shot. Don't need to walk around film the whole time with the thing. So, yeah, because if I would have had this camera with me and Jason's encounter, man, it'd have been the best thing out there. And yeah, so yeah. Night vision.
Can't do anything about it now.
No, I've been thinking about going up there and stuff too, but the area is very dangerous, and it's not. There's a lot of missing people up there. Oh, I found out I found out a particularly interesting story that kind of makes me kind of scared, because the dude was there for a long time, rugged outdoorsman, and he's still missing stuff.
Oh, really? Where we went? Or
yeah, I mean, yeah.
How close? Like
too close.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't know exactly where he went missing, but yeah, he was close enough. Too close. Actually, some of the other spots we've been to, there's actually, which we already knew about, but there's like 4 other ones in the 10-mile radius.
Jeez.
So yeah, these things, if they want to get you, there's nothing you can do. Even if you have a gun and stuff, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
even if you're out there,
there's another one more than likely.
Even if you're out there, you spend all your time and you're respectful to the wilderness, and sometimes a lot of people think, man, Bigfoot didn't like him out there. He's certainly gonna like anyone else out there, because that dude was like one with the wilderness, respectful and everything else, and carried a Bowie knife, didn't even carry guns. So knew that whole area like the back of his hand too. So
maybe he's just living out in the woods and didn't tell anybody.
No. Nope. But yeah, I mean, it just makes me think of what could have happened with me and Jason's encounter, because
maybe your Native American saved you.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they just
they saw everyone else at camp and didn't want to do anything.
A lot of this native stuff is this honesty thing. They're able to read people or feel people, or mark people, or something along those lines, right? Why didn't they show themselves to you, or why didn't they show themselves to anyone else, or why didn't they just go back to camp and do what they did with me and Jason, which is get our attention and try to slowly tree peek out behind to where we all can see them and point at them, and they know that we can see them and stuff like that. I don't know. I have no idea. I know Jason was very funny. He was laughing and making us laugh a lot, and he had that positive energy and stuff. I could see why they liked him. Yeah, I could see that. But I think about the nefarious side too. Is what if that was a distraction? It's like, oh, hey, look at me, guys. Hey, look at me.
Yeah,
because comes behind us and gives us a big old Bigfoot hug.
Yeah.
But then I think about when they made the movement or sound of the introduction of for us to turn around, the announcement of themselves. They took that chance that I have the gun on and I did. I whipped that gun off and I pointed it at the ground, but towards their direction, waiting to see whatever I'm potentially going to defend myself against, right? Because you don't shoot at whatever you don't see. If you don't see it, you don't shoot it, because you don't know what you're shooting. So they took a chance that I potentially am not going to just go put my gun and shoot at them. But when I turned around and I had that gun moving, there was burst of commotion of multiple individuals kind of running around, scattering, and probably hiding, getting ready to hide because I am whipping this gun off fast. And then I would say 5 seconds of that scattering, that realization of, wow, I believe this is Sasquatch stuff. I put my gun back on my shoulder, and then things kind of calm down really fast. And then Jason starts filming, and we see the individuals start creeping. The first one, and then the second one standing right by it, who was, we would say 7 or 8 foot tall. He was pretty tall. So that taking that chance and stuff, that is highly intelligence, processed, understanding. Not only it wasn't like an individual did it was a group of them did it. So like they as a group, or the leader decided to do that and the other guys just had to go along with it. But whatever, there's a lot of complication in that equation that shows highly intelligent animals, highly intelligent planning tactics, taking a chance on us, on that, taking that gamble. That's a risk reward type of behavior, of thought process. I mean, deep understanding. It's not just an animal. It's not just a monkey out there, an ape. That is complete emotional control to be able to first want to get our attention, take the chance on the gun while the gun's being pointed at you or your family members, that you outright just don't snap and kill this person, right? But you hide and you analyze and you observe what he's actually doing. And wow, he's not actually, when he put the gun away and stuff. You know how much thought process, how much cojones and bravery you kind of have to do to take a chance. Like, I wouldn't ever do that. I'm out in the middle of the woods, someone's walking with a gun, and I kind of walk up on them and kind of, do what they did. Heck no. That's, or they thought that if this guy starts shooting at us, they felt confident enough in their abilities that they can take the chance. They feel confident enough that if he starts shooting at us, that we're not going to be hurt. Why would they do that? Why would one take the chance to do that and hurt the other ones that are next to him if they didn't feel confident that they could get out of the way, dodge, hide, or take us out if needed? So that's not dumb animal. That's highly intelligent, thoughtful thought planning. And I don't know. Was it already a pre-thought game plan to going in? Because at what point was the decision made that, hey, let's get these guys' attention and make them look at us and see what happens?
So off-topic question.
Yeah, no, we're all over the place tonight, so it's all good, guys.
Well, not really off topic, but off topic from this. So you went to go pick up an audio. You went to go pick up an audio recorder. Did you review that audio that was on the recorder yet?
Yeah.
Was anything on it?
There's nothing on there.
Oh,
no. Really? Nope, there's nothing on that one. Actually, we're just weird. There's one closer to camp that has a lot of taps on it. Tap, tap, tap. And I for sure thought it was going to capture the sound, but really never did. It should be on there, because I remember I put it out there, and all of a sudden we had the amazing we had call on this side, and all of a sudden call on the other side, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this recorder's out there. It's going to get it. I know it's going to record all night. It was like 15 minutes after I put it out there, so I knew it was like, oh yeah, it's in like 15 or maybe a half hour. It's in the first hour that I know I have this, and I was waiting days and days and days. I can't find it. I don't know what. I have the recording. It's just, it ain't there.
Oh, that sucks.
But it should be there. It should have picked it up. So I don't know. I don't know if there's. I don't know.
Could have just been too far,
Maybe, I don't know, but like it was closer to the sound in camp was, and audio recorder picked it up there, so I don't know, but
Yeah, that's weird.
But there's a lot of tappings. There's at one point you start hearing this rhythmic tap.
Is this the one close to camp, or is it far away?
Closer to camp.
Oh,
The one farther away really didn't catch anything. It was just more ambient noise.
Okay.
Didn't catch anything. And now, if you really look at it and maybe boost and stuff, maybe there's some stuff in the background.
Yeah, but it'd be really hard to tell. Yeah.
But you know how that is. If you're really going to spend, well, what we do is we do the general, see if it shows up on the graph, and then we listen to it.
Yep.
And then if you really need to enhance it, then we do it. But
you good? It's not me, is it? Well, that is not good. I'm guessing his phone died. And he's gone. Now it's just me. I have no idea what's going on. It looks like Blake's phone either ran out of battery or he got disconnected. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
All right, I'm finally back.
Your phone die?
No, I don't know what happened.
Oh, you
All of a
just
sudden
froze.
Froze, and then I backed out and then refreshed it. So
Okay.
yeah, so it should be all right, I guess. Yeah, if anytime there's any technical difficulties, usually I try to figure it out, fix it for you guys real fast, or leave you with a host or a guest talking, and then if not, I'll be back on and at some point.
At some point.
I mean, there's been times. I remember one time, my phone died, computer died, or something like that. I couldn't get back on for like a while.
Yeah.
Or I had to like end the stream, and like I think I said I'm ending the stream now, but like I couldn't actually end the stream because I was like a guest as myself, and I had to like re-upload my computer, which was like updating and stuff to actually get on to like as the host, which makes no sense. Same profile, same everything, to end the actual stream. So like it went on for a couple more minutes and stuff, but because we're a very professional, highly paid Hollywood studio that makes super high professional quality content worth millions of dollars. So yeah, it used to be. Now I just laugh. Just like, oh, it's okay. It's just a normal thing that I come to expect. Used to have interference. I used to say, oh, the government just messing with us. But I haven't had that interference in a long time. And that, which would be like, I have a guest on. We're ready to go. It's ready to go. and then I couldn't go live, or like all of a sudden I would go live and then I couldn't come on, or so there's some old ones where it's like I had some technical issues in the beginning, or I couldn't even start the show because I'm inside the studio, but the person can't see me, or I can see everyone else. I can control everything, but no one can see me. No one can do anything with me. So I have to like have other people do the show, and I'm in the background controlling who comes on. If someone gets kicked and stuff like that, I can bring them back on. But I can't show up on the show. There was a show like that happened, unfortunately, and it seems like there's no issues now lately, as of late. So
I think we were talking about
typically.
going through audio, I think.
Yeah, I got to get my computer fixed. I got to get a new power cord shipped over, and then I am going through all the database and getting rid of a lot of stuff. I got to make for a room. So
yeah, if you need to send me something,
space.
I got a terabyte. I just put a terabyte of SSD in my computer. So
yeah, I got 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte.
Oh my god,
2.5 terabytes full. Or I got some left, so it's not. It's like 2 terabytes and 2.2, I would say.
Well, I don't know how you're gonna send me that.
A lot of it, I don't know. A lot of it, honestly, should probably be looked at, and I'm not good at trying to find Bigfoot faces in like forests and stuff.
I don't really care if you just have to look.
I don't care either. But some of those, like when we have encounters and stuff, some of those should be looked through. I'm no expert at that. I don't think there's any experts, but I'm not really good at finding any face. Any face that I find, I think is mostly fake. But there's a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard to get rid of. It's like, man, I really don't want to get rid of this stuff. But then again, it's like,
I keep all the evidence I have.
Make more room.
But if it's just like audio that you're not 100% sure if there's something or not, that I just I have it on the audio recorder itself and then just delete it on my computer.
Oh, there's evidence that it's only on YouTube now. There is no original copy.
You can download you can download your video from YouTube too if you need.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because it just didn't have enough room, especially in the beginning. Didn't have enough room. And
you can also download videos to YouTube. Yeah, and transfer them over to your computer to YouTube. If you have anything on your phone, you can just upload it to YouTube and then download on your computer.
That's kind of why I started. I kind of have a little free storage space of stuff. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we don't. We fund ourselves. I fund myself. James funds himself. There is no like group funding.
I'm a millionaire.
Or we're not. There's no group equipment that we have. We have. We fund our own stuff and do our own thing. So yeah, we're doing what we can. We don't really beg for money. We don't even promote stuff. I mean, we have things in places you could go to do that, but yeah, we don't. That's not what they're about. We don't really want to be associated with that. And we had a bad last year with a bad taste in my mouth that was left by this money and BS in the Bigfoot world, and this trying to get quick scheme and all this junk that comes with it, and it has nothing to do with actual research. It has nothing to do with actually getting something that you actually need and using it in the field. So I see a lot of people who are getting a lot of money who should be getting equipment and having results and are not having results. So it's very odd and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I kind of priced. I said, well, I think for $150,000, I could spend all year out researching Bigfoot, and that would be being paid $50,000 to spend all year away from my family. So $50,000 that goes to my my family for not being there all year, but $50,000 to buy equipment and stuff, and then $50,000 for food and stuff to be out there. And you probably spend all year out there and get stuff. Well, that's actually not. If you're gonna spend $50,000 and buy equipment, like a bunch of audio equipments and decent
No, you said
cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, 150,000. You gotta buy food.
There's like
you got like 50,000
for make that a year.
Food. Oh yeah, I know. Certainly. I think that's how much it would cost for, to pay someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, to pay someone $50,000 a year to be away from their family is not a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, you gotta buy food. You gotta buy camping equipment. You gotta buy. Especially if you don't have any of this stuff. People.
Oh, speaking of,
I think that's how much it would take. I think
I got a new tent.
Shouldn't take any more than that.
I got a new tent. It's a 8-person tent.
Oh snap!
Yeah, because it's for the rally race we're going on. But now I have an 8-person tent.
Now you got an extra 8-person tent, man.
Yeah,
nice.
It can fit like 3 queen size like mattresses in it for only $85.
Wait, 3? Are you sure about that? That don't seem right.
That's what it says, but it's about a 6-person tent.
Yeah. No, those are good because you can fit all your stuff in it and don't have to worry about being outside.
Did you hear me? It was only $85. That's
steal,
like
man.
Really good, yeah.
I know. I was looking at tents and it should be like 150 plus.
Yes. That being said, the rainfly system on it is kind of bad, but it's best you're gonna get.
Yeah, even if you have to get a regular tarp and string it over.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think it's waterproof on the inside, so like the floor. But yeah. I'll find out if it's good or not.
Yeah, June. Trying to plan something big for us in June. I guess I know. There's a couple spots, just where do you want to go? But
exactly.
I kind of want to. I don't know. There's a bunch of places to go. It doesn't really matter, honestly.
North, south, east, west. Not west. But,
yeah, it'd actually be awesome to if we could have people in the chat actually come to Michigan and hang out with us. We actually could organize some type of thing where, we got the spots. You guys just got to show up, and we could stay out there. And if you guys really wanted to get some stuff done, I hope some hardcore people would show up, because this would not be just like a camp out. Like, oh hey, have fun. We're gonna spend time at camp. Like, no, we're this is just a place where to put our stuff, and we got to go to sleep and eat. Like, we're gonna be trying to get evidence and spend time out there and put some miles in. I mean, how many? I mean, we put like 15 plus miles in.
I don't know about that much, but at least 5.
No, it was we walked one day. We walked
maybe 10. Maybe 10. I wasn't there the whole day.
It was the one day we walked 10. There's been times where we walked 7 miles in one trip in one day, and then went back out at night and went back. So we put some miles in. Just depends on where we're at, and it just depends on everything. What's going on? That's why it's so hard to tell and be like, yeah, this spot's amazing, but then you go there and it's like nothing happens. It's like, well, that sucks, but
yeah,
I always kind of get surprised. Oh yeah, come on, you could, yeah, you could actually just come out and hang out at camp, honestly, because there's always gonna be at least some people at camp because Not everyone can go out all the time, and some people get tired, and some people want to keep going. Some people are just like, I'm good for now. I don't want to go out at night and stuff like that. So, but I would hope to get some people who would want to go get dirty, muddy, wouldn't mind going in through a swamp, getting wet, and try. If you guys want to get an experience with Bigfoot, you guys can come to Michigan. We can try to guarantee as much as we can possibly can that you guys can try to get one. But
go swamping with Blake.
I like to say, if you're with me and you stay with me the entire time when I go out, each time I go out, your likelihood of seeing a Bigfoot is a lot greater than staying at camp.
You're also likely to go through at least 2 swamps.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to go to places where people just don't feel comfortable going or don't want to go. Or
I wouldn't go there.
It's not even that. Most of the time, it's just like, it's just an obstacle. It's just a little bit of water. People just don't want to go, even though it's not deep or anything. Just that little bit of obstacle, it's sometimes enough for a Bigfoot just to feel it's enough for humans, because on average, most average people, especially hikers, don't want to go get wet unless they have to. So yeah, crossing a little barrier like that, especially if it's not deep and it's not really dangerous and stuff, you might be able to actually sneak up and get up, or at least get to a spot where they're hanging out at. So you might go through some swamps, yeah.
Yeah.
But once you're wet, once you're a little wet, your shoes are soaked. Okay, well, now you're wet. Well, now you can get up to your knees wet, right? I mean, you're wet, right? Your shoes are wet, your socks are wet, you're already soaked, right? Well, you can keep going. You can go a little deeper, right? You can get up to your past your kneecaps, right? You're not getting your butt wet, right? You're good. You can keep going. And then it turns to, it's farther to go back than just to keep going forward. I know. I like you like that one when I first sprang that up on you. You're just like, what? No, yeah, honestly, if we did this big, because I know other people are doing some of this like gathering, get together things.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome to do.
5 other groups they're doing.
It'd be awesome to do, but this would be a little bit more serious type of thing. I don't want this to be like a big old like party or like a camp out. I mean, it would be a camp out. It'd be fun. We can have all that fun interaction stuff. But when I'm in the woods, my limited time that I get in the woods, I need to spend.
We got a great observation question.
I need to spend trying to observe and find evidence and capture evidence of Sasquatch or any other weird cryptid thing out there. Because if we're there and all we're doing is talking face to face, which is awesome. I mean, we can talk on here face to face, man. Let's go look for Bigfoot together. Let's go get muddy and dive deep and go chase after that sound at nighttime. Let's go check and see, oh my God, we just had something thrown at us. Okay, well, let's try to get some good interaction going to get more.
You see my question?
Yeah. To your question, where? The private chat or anything?
No. The swamp question.
Oh.
Where are you gonna run? Yeah, we're gonna run.
Yeah, James, where were you gonna run and hide? Yeah. Nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah. No, I think it was a question for you.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I just kind of had a tug on your string a little bit because I remember at one time you were like, "What do we do? What do we do?" It's like, well, what can you do?
Nothing.
Don't piss them off. Yeah.
We're already in their house. We already did that.
Just back out of the air. Just try to leave them alone. That's it, right? Just come up against one that's startled. Just try to back away and don't engage them. And if you're like us, try to be friendly. That's what we all try to be nice, try to be friendly, let them know.
So we went through an area where literally no one else was going to walk. It was so it was a swamp for one, but it was very hard to maneuver in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you gotta be respectful. That's the number one thing. Is even though I don't trust these things, I respect them. I respect how dangerous they are. I respect the power, and I respect that this is their world and their home. I mean, I respect the forest and nature on its own and stuff, but probably shouldn't disrespect them or their place, their home, or litter. I don't like to litter. I try to never litter really ever, but I wouldn't want to litter inside a Sasquatch's living room. Yeah. Yeah, you can lay next to a alligator down in Florida. Try to hide. No, it comes back to the gorilla thing. I think I would, if I'm not going to defend myself, or I'm not able to, or don't have my weapons on me, I would probably put myself in a very submissive state and hold my arm out in the way to try to submit, basically how great apes do. If you ever watch how great apes do, chimpanzees and gorillas, basically kind of the same thing. But if they're people, that really doesn't make any sense though either, because they're people and they understand and they have their own ways and customs. So we don't know. We don't know. That's why we gotta investigate and hopefully observe and learn. And the only way to do that is to get out in the field, get out there and do what Central Florida Bigfoot's doing. You guys go to his channel, watch his videos and stuff. He's doing an awesome job and getting out there, trying different things, get out in the water, kayaking, getting into different places where you can't access on land, or people just don't cross these water barriers. Mostly because down there they have alligators and poisonous snakes, but in general, swamps are dangerous, and water is a barrier that keeps most people out. So,
yeah, have you ever had an experience in a swamp?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, in a swamp, when I was in the water, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, next to swamps, or actually in a swamp. Actually, in a swamp, yes. And that was flooded. I don't know if that was technically a swamp, though. But well, me and you were in a swampy area, but it wasn't. We weren't all in a swamp.
I'm saying
right?
Actually in the water. Yeah.
In the water, in a swamp, I've heard stuff.
Oh, okay.
When we were in Allegan County, we were on a stream system, creek system. It wasn't technically a swamp. It had swampy areas, marshy areas, but it was not technically a swamp. I mean, there's stuff that comes from out of swampy areas, but I guess what I would consider being in the actual swamp, I would say no. But that's kind of difficult because a lot of Michigan is very diverse and stuff. So while you might be in this big giant swamp, you're not in the water yet and stuff. And there's different, diversity of landscapes and micro
biomes,
habitat. Yeah. So it would all be considered a swamp. So, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, in Florida, when I was in Florida, that was all a swampy area, but I wasn't in a swamp.
Yeah.
So
I was just saying, yeah, because there was a question if you
that was a good question.
If you were in a swamp, and have you ever had anything happen to you? And if so, what did you do?
I've heard ward knocks and stuff, and just listen. I mean, just you just play it cool. I mean, you don't freak out ever. No matter what happens, you don't freak out. No matter what happens, what you see,
I mean,
what
I do remember we
you just can't.
in the one area we go up north, we had that huge group go out into that swamp area.
Yeah, I mean that I would consider that's
It was.
it's a
It
swamp.
It wasn't
more
really
like
watery,
a bog,
but
but
yeah,
it's
it
a
was more like a
bog.
bog. But yeah,
It's a bog, but
there was some stuff
again, yeah, it's the
happening.
same thing. Yeah, we heard some stuff, and the dog sensed some stuff, freaked out, smelled something. So,
And then
yeah,
I think John was getting something on his flare, like orbs or something.
yeah, I would say more. Everything has
Yeah.
been around swamps or bodies of water, creek systems, little ponds, not necessarily any bodies of water, any marshes and creeks and all that. So I think all that activity stems from the waterways because, well, here in Michigan, they travel along the waterways, especially in places where it's more modern and stuff. And I think that there's potentially underground dens or caves that they've dug out or have access to, or even just like basically an underground cove that they can get up into.
Sleep, yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of old stories of them swimming and using the waterways or swimming
Oh, there
across.
is.
Oh yeah, yeah, swimming across Lake St. Clair to Canada from Detroit area.
Like they just saw a huge mass just swimming.
There's a report. Actually, it's the oldest report in Michigan from the white settlers, and that was from Val. Actually, has and talks about it, and basically it's a French French letter that goes back to France, a military intelligence letter, basically telling about a group of Sasquatch, a tribe of them that came down this river system, and basically when they got close to towns, the townspeople said that the bells and the bell towers would ring.
Oh.
And basically the crops would die, dogs went missing and death, and basically the crops would wither away and die wherever these things went. But they got sighted along a river system, and they got sighted moving across the land very impossible ways, and disappearing and popping up disappearing in one spot and popping up in the next spot unknowingly how no one's seeing them. But anyways, they went to the Detroit area, old Fort Detroit area, where there's a lot of old Sasquatches, tales of old Fort Detroit and old Detroit area. But the townspeople chased them across Lake St. Clair over to Harson's Island, which is in Canada, which is a little nature preserve area now. Very swampy, flooded coastal area. Chased them to that place on the other side of Canada and then lost them. And they said that they went underneath the water and must be underneath the water in some type of cave systems or something. That's what the townspeople said. So, the Sasquatches are very good swimmers. A lot of reports of them swimming very excellently, and being able to hold their breath extremely long with this incredible lung capacity that they have. So yeah. That is interesting and stuff. We find it's kind of hard to say. Michigan, there's water everywhere. I mean, you are literally no more than 4 miles from any big body of water, from a creek system to a big pond or a swamp or a lake or the Great Lakes. I mean, there's water pretty much everywhere. But we have found a number of interesting structures close by swamps and waters. The one X that I showed you, you and Tyler, I was right on the edge of a swamp creek system.
Oh yeah.
But we have not found correlation between how close it is to water and stuff because there's water everywhere here. It's not like in other spots and stuff. There's water only in certain areas or things like that. In Florida, like Mark Zaski has said many times, I think they spend their time in the water cooling off and stuff. And I know when me and James applied that to here in Michigan when it was 85 degrees, we were around and looking next to water when we had our multiple encounters.
Yep.
So in Florida, when I was there, yeah, it was hot, man. I mean, if you're out in direct sun, man, you're sweating. It's like 90 something. It feels like you're dying. You go in the shade, it's like 20 degrees colder. It feels a way better, amazing. But being in the water, I'm sure it's even better. And these things are like alpha, omega predators. I mean, they pretty much can kick the crap out of any alligator and drive them out of the area for the protection of their young. Obviously, an alligator, full grown, 8-foot, 10-foot, 12-foot alligator can, I would assume, be able to eat, a small juvenile Sasquatch, even to a young teenager and possibly even adult size, if caught off guard and off balance, So they have to hunt these things, drive them out and swimming and stuff, and keep these big boys away from their smaller family groups, which is reported in some of these areas of Florida that we've been to with crypto reality and the 168 and stuff. There was really no alligators to be found in this one area, and these other areas there was a lot. But yeah, Florida's way different than Michigan. It's a whole different ball game there. And then I hear that the Everglades itself is even way more extreme place to be, where the swamp actually has bull sharks that come in and swim into the swamp from the ocean and get stuck in there and stuff like that. So I am gotta plug the phone in. The phone's gonna be dying here pretty soon, which is okay. We'll be shutting the stream down here pretty soon. Go get closer to the 3-hour mark.
Hello? He'll be back probably. Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, I just plugged my charger in, but yeah, we'll be shutting the stream down here in 10 minutes. So, if there's any last questions or comments or any concerns, please express yourself freely. Hopefully, next time we have the open mic night, which we have been doing lately, get more people from the chat in. You guys don't have to believe in Bigfoot to come on. Obviously, we had Brainbug come on, and a little bit of more of a skeptical side there. Very interesting talk, religious, spiritual talk, which is always interesting. Change it up a little bit, but yeah, anytime we have the free open mic night, which I kind of like doing, because it's spontaneous and anything can happen. You guys can come on. You guys don't, have to show your face or anything. You guys know that, obviously, right? And you don't even have to give your real name if you really didn't want to or anything like that when you set up StreamYard. But it's open for anyone, as long as you guys, behave, obviously, and I would expect you guys to have common sense enough to know what you should and shouldn't do and, not do to get kicked off the show if you came on as a guest, I would assume, right? Because I believe everyone's, pretty smart that I see in the comments and everything that I've observed and stuff. And I see a lot of people in different comments and different shows and stuff like that. So we try to stay out of drama. We don't really cause drama, start drama, or anything like that. We got enough of it. We had enough of it from our own people.
I got a topic we can talk about.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So you know how you told me about Carrie going to Florida and his live streams?
He got back. Yeah.
I watched those, or at least I watched. I kind of watched a little bit. I didn't really want to watch 2 hours of a live stream, but yeah, I was watching, and you could definitely hear stuff in the background. So yeah, they were in the parking lot still, which was wild.
Yeah, at the place you park at.
Yeah.
Which is it's not even. They're out there. It's not a parking spot.
Well, yeah, I know that. But
you actually, it's like you can take a 2-track out there and get out to basically where you can't drive no more. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know it.
Florida. It's just Florida style, and yeah, you can hear stuff pretty good, and which was surprising. I was watching that live. Usually when I watch live, I'm always doing something else. I kind of say hi in the chat. I can't really keep up with the chat. I don't talk to people in the chat.
Everyone just says hi.
Well, usually I'm busy, but I'm listening and stuff. I'm always listening. I'm working on doing something else, but I'm listening. And you could hear audio from those Sasquatches out there.
And Carrie's just like, oh my god.
Carrie did a good job. I'm sure he was freaking out because he has PTSD basically of his encounter. Which
I haven't watched that one yet, but I did. I'm working.
You gotta watch it, man. He's pretty emotional in that one.
I'm trying to get to it, but
Oh, it's hard. Well, I don't really watch TV. I kind of listen to stuff and I watch the news and stuff, but I usually listen to stuff while I'm doing other stuff. So
yeah,
I'm able to get and stuff and shout out. Well, I was told, I should start watching and listening to some of the stuff in like 1.5 speed and 2 and stuff because it'll speed up and you can start, fit more stuff in. So I've done that a little bit and
yeah, I usually
kind of got to get used to it, but
I just hit the skip button.
Skip button.
Yeah, the arrow keys. I just like.
Oh, man. No, I try to listen to a lot of stuff and see what everyone's up to and trying to figure out get ideas and see what people are doing, what works, what's not works, see if anything's new is happening. And it seems like there's just drama and there's just people are trying to do stuff and nothing's going on. Some stuff's going on. There's a lot of conferences this year, though. It seems like there's like twice as many this year as there was last year, which is cool and stuff,
I
you know.
haven't really been paying
Meet and greet.
attention.
I just see it on Facebook. There's like conferences like everywhere. It's like, wow.
I don't really check that often, so
I wonder how many they're going to be in 5 years.
I guess it depends on if something big
10
happens
years,
or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's money. Well, I don't want to say all of it's money, but you know, I think a lot of motivation comes from that. It's just never good. Money, people, and the Bigfoot world doesn't mix well.
Don't freeze again. Oh, you're moving?
I'm moving. No, I don't think I have. I think I forgot about it since last time, but I'm gonna make sure I look at it now, honestly.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
There's a few different ones actually that come to mind because I think I'm gonna show more different clips and stuff on here. Maybe next week and stuff. It depends on if I going out or not. Depends on how my eye is, I guess.
Yeah, I might go out as well if people respond back to me.
Yeah, or you know, maybe figure out try to do something, hook up. But yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah,
gonna
do you
go
know
out by
Shelly
myself at least.
Burns?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's the one that posted asking if people want to go out with her. And like there's a whole thread of people that were like, yeah. It's more like the Indian Springs, Bald Mountain, Kensington area, Proud Lake, you know.
Oh yeah, we're
Farmington Hills area.
Gabe's spot. Gabe goes, yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Yeah, I
over
mean
there too.
there's whole history over there. I mean,
I've been over there.
and you
too.
look in
It's
the
pretty
map,
sketchy.
I mean people will look in the map and will like, what? There's Bigfoot over there? What? There's nothing. There's no way. There's blah blah blah. There's no way there's Bigfoot there.
I hiked the Chief Pontiac.
Telling you.
I hiked the Chief Pontiac Trail like a lot of times, and it's like really squashy. So,
well, I'm not saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say there's a lot of not houses, but it's like in the middle of like a town, basically. So.
Well, they're not there like 24/7.
Oh yeah, I know.
Living there in that spot, but they are definitely visiting and camping out there.
Pretty sure the Rouge River just
you don't have to
big highway. Yeah.
You know, they go into the area and they sneak into the area and they might hang out for a couple of days and they sneak out and stuff. But they're going into these areas certainly, but living there 24/7 every single day they're there. No. But they're migrating. They migrate a lot throughout Michigan. You know, I've thought about this a lot. Is how many miles a night are they traveling when they decide to travel? Because obviously, what I think is going on is they travel to a new area. They sit in the area for a couple of days or a week hunting, right? And then they, like hunter gatherers, they're moving on, migrating, or going to other spots to not deplete the resources and not cause suspicion, I guess, with people. Especially in lower Michigan, up north where there's more wilderness, up in the UP where it is wilderness, where you would say, yes, there's Bigfoot. Yeah, it's wilderness. Oh, heck yeah. They don't probably have to migrate as much. Down here where there's more farmland and sparse population of woods, of wilderness, they kind of have to migrate more, I feel like. So that means that if you have a particular area you think Sasquatches are out here in lower Michigan, you know, they're not going to always be there because they're going to be moving around. But they will be coming back. And they'll probably be back every month. At least some areas, at least from what my own personal experiences are on that, is those areas they'll probably visit every single month and maybe stay for a couple of days or a week or more. Or they might come back every 2 weeks. and spend 3 days there every 2 weeks. There was one particular area that I haven't gone back. I should, but it's all private property basically. It was every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks they would come back. Every 2 weeks I would hear something, and then for a couple of days, and then it'd be a 2 week period of there was nothing, and then a couple of days it'd be we hear howls out there, or me and my brother would have some rocks or something thrown at us as we're waiting for the bus stop, which kind of freaked him out. He didn't like that. Or riding my bike to my buddy's house, which was across a couple country blocks away, and just hearing these coyotes just attack this raccoon, and then all of a sudden this massive scream, and it sounds like bloody murder, and then just silence, and then nothing for 2 weeks. Then finding a little footprint out there when I'm out there. This was all when I was 13, 14, 15, and first really getting into this area, and my first encounter and all that. It was pretty much every 2 weeks they would be around for a couple of days or a week, and then every 2 weeks they would come back, or it might be 3 weeks, but it was on average I was saying 2 weeks.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, we got no link here, North Mesquite, but you can send it. Get on Facebook, Lost Cryptids Conservatory group, and hit me up on Facebook. Because my emails, I know, are I'm not getting notifications the right way. I'm getting them like days and weeks late. Actually, on my Facebook too is messing up. I'm getting stuff that's hours late, stuff that's late. I'm actually missing birthday notifications too. I noticed.
Yeah, I was too.
I just missed a whole bunch of people's birthdays, Bigfooters, that I really wish I didn't, because they're friends and stuff, and her associates that I like and stuff, and it's just like I missed a lot of people's birthdays that I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I think Facebook's a little messed up right now, so they'll fix it.
Yeah. And there's something like some people are having like that you can't see who liked their stuff, right? Or something like that going on. And then there's other people who can see whoever liked stuff, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know.
I don't update stuff. I don't do any of that crap, so I push any of the updates off as long as I can, usually because it just changes up way too much, and then you have that is pretty sweet, man. Red wolf sighting over there in Tennessee out in the wild, huh? That's actually pretty sweet. Considering they are a endangered species, highly endangered.
I would know what a red wolf is.
Yeah, it's a very highly endangered species, practically almost extinct in the wild. It's basically southern wolves in the southern states, basically. And they're a little bit smaller in variety and very unique to the southern states of Georgia and Tennessee and all theirs around there. So, hey there, tall ones. Nice to see you, Brent. I think you were on Jeff's show, Pine Island Research, I think. There's a bunch of people on I seen before I started the show. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna have to catch this show later. But yeah, nice to see you, man.
Wait, whose show? I'll look it up right now.
Pine Island Research, and that is with Jeff Hardy, I believe. Harding. He's from Minnesota. He actually is a pretty knowledgeable guy who researches out of Minnesota, and then he has some other places. But he works with Doug Hychek.
All right, I found him.
Which is the Monster Quest guy. And they've been doing some pretty interesting experiments and research, and he has his own encounters and stuff. Pretty really new channel and stuff, but honestly, pretty awesome stuff from what I've seen so far. And they talk about how Bigfoot potentially sees in the UV spectrum potentially more than other spectrums, and so they would see light differently. They would be able to pick up IR light and stuff like that differently, and colors differently. A theory, a very interesting theory. And I think him and Doug have went and talked about. I don't know if it was on his show. I think it was on his channel or some other one. And I know Jeff's talked about it where their hair, talks about the properties of the hair, translucent hair, and how it's. I can't remember exactly what they did, or like it can. They highlighted it or made it glow a certain color or something, some spectrum or something they did. I can't remember exactly right now. They did show some type of property, but I kind of wish I remembered right now because it is interesting. But yeah, so they had just had a really awesome show. It looked like, I don't know, I didn't get to watch it too much, but when I looked at it, you had a bunch of people on. Nice open mic, free for all kind of a show.
Yeah, it says a random live, right?
Random live, yeah. So everyone check that out. Subscribe there. Subscribe to the Tall Ones.
Oh yeah, Jay Fitz was on there.
Yep, Jay. I see. Yep.
I'm just skipping through right now. Not watching it, just looking.
Yeah, and the Tall Ones is getting out there in Washington. Got amazing spots out there. Just don't get too close to any more black bears, Brent. They're cute and cuddly and stuff, but until they turn on you, man. You got way too close. We posted a video in the Lost Cryptids group of this very friendly, nice black bear. Obviously very normalized to humans. It seemed like, but. Doesn't look like a Bigfoot. It doesn't look like a Bigfoot when it's in the woods. It doesn't look like a Bigfoot when you can't partially see it behind the brush. Like, there's nothing about it that screams Bigfoot anytime I see it. Hiding behind stuff.
Yeah. Are you ready for bed now?
Yeah. No, I thought you were, Brent. I thought you were on that show because seems like all the other people. The shows that you're usually on and people you hang out with are on there. Yeah, pretty much ready for bed. I mean, we just had some late people show up. But if there's nothing else to talk about, I think we're pretty much ready.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Just got some planning to do. We appreciate everyone who comes on, supports us with your time that you take watching the show. It means a lot. So stay tuned. We're gonna work our butts off. You guys can watch the different encounters that we had. Me and Jason's encounter. It's Jason Kenzie and Blake Deutscher's Bigfoot encounter. It's a raw footage that it's not edited. It is what it is. You guys can see how intense it was. We're working on get some night vision because we had the proper equipment in that situation. We would have got probably I want to say, but it's probably some of the best footage out there. Honestly, I mean they were that close. So hit the like button, subscribe. Find us on Facebook, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. We got a Facebook page and a group. The group I post a lot of different stuff: ancient lost treasures, knowledge, mysteries, megalithic structures, spiritual ghost stuff, UFO stuff, Bigfoot stuff, all over kind of the place, really. Stuff that I kind of find fascinating and interesting. So, that's what the Lost Cryptids Conservatory is. The conservatory is a place of learning, or institute of learning and to learn and have discussions and to teach what we know and to have our experiences. So we appreciate everyone who enjoys the show, takes the time.
Oh.
No, Brent. No, it's not going to be one of those nights.
4-hour.
No, not a 4 hour, but maybe next time though. We'll hang out and have some fun. I know we've been starting at 10 p.m. a little earlier than 11, so we're not going to be staying on as long as we normally would if it was 3 hours. 3 hours at 11. So yeah, the bear. That's what I assumed. It was pretty, nonchalant about being next to you and walking next to people in tents and stuff. So. So yeah, join us in the Facebook group, like the page and everything like that, and message and talk, and we'll see you guys next time.